The first thing that informs our mission for Ukraine Friends is what we hear from the ground. What are the actual needs of the people? We feel like we have what we would call in our commercial space, a true competitive advantage to deliver aid more effectively and more efficiently than other organizations, so that we are being good stewards of our donors' money. And we know that that is in the supply chain landscape. So the question becomes, what supplies can we deliver that we can deliver for the best possible value that will have the maximum impact for the people of Ukraine? And in today's shape, that's been laptops to address this increasing need for an education gap. With Russia's indiscriminate bombing, there's been this massive disruption to the education landscape in Ukraine, where kids are either not able to get to school, school's not in session, or they don't have access to electronics to access school virtually. So right now we're providing laptops, and I think what will be really interesting is, God willing, when the military landscape is not so aggressive from the Russian side and Ukraine is at peace, what will that look like for Ukraine? My guess would be somewhere along the reconstruction and recovery landscape, but time will really tell as that evolves.
We quickly went into action, utilizing our connections again. The key is it's a bunch of entrepreneurs that came together with all different resources in medical supply industry, supply chain solutions, logistics, marketing, etc. And because all of us had personal connections to Ukraine, we just started to get into action, creating a program called ukrainefriends.org. And we just, really went to work. And we immediately saw a need for people, trying to evacuate. And we hired a lot of locals and a lot of local buses, drivers, etc. And we evacuated over 35,000 women, children, and seniors into different border countries. And also via a partnership with friends of ours and the CEO of Airbnb, we were able to house over 15,000 people. But from there, we saw a need to help protect volunteer civilian guards. So we were able to send in, we were the largest donor of something called IFAKs, which are called, it's a abbreviation for individual first aid kits. And it has life-saving supplies like a tourniquet, stop bleeding, gauze, things to go in the chest if you're shot, just a lot of different gauzes and bandages and tourniquets, and just all life-saving materials. So again, we donated 75,000 of those. Since the beginning, we have donated over $35 million worth of financial support and aid into the country of Ukraine, and we're continuing our support.
One of the great things about our organization is culturally, we're very entrepreneurial. We focus on what's needed right now, not some driving belief that we should make change in a particular way. We focus on what do people need. We look at what are other nonprofits doing, what are government agencies doing, and we ask, how can we best fill in the gaps in between? And probably about a year ago, it started to become obvious that one of the areas where people were really struggling on the ground in Ukraine was around remote learning, and honestly, learning in general for children. The war has had such a dramatic impact on where people live. So many Ukrainians have migrated from the east of the country to the west, or even out of the country. So many people are living away from where they were going to school, and they're forced to do remote learning, maybe because they're away from their school, the school has been damaged, the teachers are away. And so technology has really bridged a gap there in terms of education and learning. And unfortunately, most of the children in Ukraine don't have the best technology to make remote learning work. And that's where we've come in. Ukrainian studies show that half the children in Ukraine are in remote school, and half of those can't afford to have a laptop. So imagine doing remote school as a kid, borrowing a parent's phone to participate. That's going to make learning really, really challenging.
Yes, we were very thankful to find Ukraine Friends and then later learn about the Digital Wings program. Often with something like this, you want to help and you don't know how, and you don't know how when you do help, how it's going to actually impact those that you really want to help. Being able to see the picture of the laptop with the children with the Sienna sticker, that was a huge inspiration for what we're currently doing, and also in really just fostering more contributions into the future.
Empathy, for me, it's the best way to get people focused and start paying attention, that there is something going on there that we didn't really expect as would be something normal in this day and age, but it happens. And then people start thinking about what are the potential reasons for that. And my main focus is that once they kind of understand that we're all humans and we're only one step away from being in the same situation where things could actually be just as bad here as they are over there, and ask ourselves a question: how would we react if we were in the same situation? That creates this first step of an empathetic understanding, because that's the kind of exercises we do in my psychology class, where you can actually see, start thinking about the situations. What if this happens? What if, somebody gets hurt or injured, or God forbid, you have to move, or you lose a loved one, or you go through all this? People typically don't think about those things. And then you still need to function and still need to heal. And what if all of those things happen to you and you don't want to live anymore? And how do you get a person back grounded on their 2 feet and show them that there is more afterwards, when there is uncertainty that surrounds you and nothing is clear except maybe your very, very next step, if you're still lucky enough to have 2 legs to do that. So it's one of those things where it's very hard, but it's possible. So we're trying to do more and more of that, so that people understand the scale and what humanity is going through, and why Ukraine is kind of going through a lot of things to prevent a lot of us from going through the same experiences.
When I introduced this to the computer science students, talked about really the intersection of computer science and psychology and mental health, and talk about the program, show the website, show you have a map of, I think, how many laptops have gone to different areas. So we show that to really show how impactful this is. And then also show that it's, sure, it's a laptop and it allows the students to continue with their education.
And I strongly believe that despite this uncertainty, despite this difficult period, there is a bright future ahead for Ukrainian children and for children of their children. Unfortunately, there is this heavy price that people are paying that's difficult for us to imagine. But I believe that ultimately, like a stronger, better, more beautiful country will emerge, with all of the people having come closer to the dreams and maybe experiencing things they never experienced before. So we have to remain realistically optimistic about the future, and each of us needs to do our part to say what we believe in. Not to listen to some nonsense that's kind of spewed out there, to be able to articulate things, and to be able to remain firm and steady in support, show strength and support, because that's what's needed right now. And I think that that's what we're trying to teach our students.
Every organization that's thinking about it, I would encourage all of you to go look. It's not hard to get together 10 to 20 laptops from your ID department that are just sitting there. And working together, each one of those laptops can change an individual's life for the better. And
if you supported Ukraine Friends from when we got started, we're a scrappy organization that was completely self-funded out of pure interest to deliver aid as efficiently and effectively as possible. Thanks to your support, we've been able to deliver now over $50 million of aid between Ukraine Friends and Israel Friends under the Worldwide Friends umbrella. And as we grow, we're adding more resources for sustainability. We are looking to evolve our mission with more long-term sustainability and grants. So for those who have been inspired by our mission, led mostly by self-funded, self-started, self-made entrepreneurs in the supply chain, tech, or finance space, in the last 3 years. We're thrilled to have your support and hope to have your support as we grow the organization.
We need supportive donors, whether it's in-kind donations or financial donations, to keep our missions going. So, just want to say thank you to everyone who supports us, and we could not do this without any of you. And just please, we do know there's donor fatigue always in battles and conflicts, but don't get tired. Let us fight for you. Let us try to help make things right on your behalf, and we really appreciate everyone's support.